Hello, my name is Tyler from Pages of Light, back with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the historical fiction graphic novel Petrograd, written by Philip Gelatt and illustrated by Tyler Crook, so don't go anywhere. Welcome to Pages of Light, where we do reviews and analysis from a Christian worldview. If that sounds like something that you're into, hit the subscribe button and the bell down below so you don't miss any new videos. Alright, let's get into this review. Petrograd is the untold tale of the conspiracy behind the murder of Grigory Rasputin. The story follows Cleary, a reluctant British spy who finds himself tasked with the most difficult assignment of his career: orchestrate the death of the Mad Monk. To accomplish this almost impossible mission, he'll have to negotiate dangerous ties with the secret police, navigate the halls of power, and tangle with dangerous radicals. And as the city explodes in the turmoil of revolution, he'll find that it is his own life on the line. A tense historical spy thriller, Petrograd takes the reader on a journey through the secrets and back alleys of one of history's most infamous assassinations. So to start off the review, I wanted to take a look at the physical quality of the book. We have some nice fabric and gold lettering on the left side, which is really nice. And then we have the two main characters, Rasputin and Cleary, down at the bottom here. And then on the inside, we have some nice thick matte paper, which kind of has like a newspaper vibe, which really adds to the setting of the book, which is 1916 and 17. So this is really quality book. It would really stand out on a bookshelf, so 5 stars there. I really enjoyed the art of the book. Tyler Crook did a really good job kind of depicting the nitty-gritty aspect of the story with the black, white, and red colors, which lends itself to the war and revolution and murder. And he also does a really good job of depicting the locations and people from real history. So in the story, the main character, Cleary, finds himself in the middle of 3 different factions. There's the British government, who he works for. There's the Russian monarchy, where Rasputin has a lot of influence. And then there's the Russian revolutionaries, where Cleary has a bit of a love interest there. This book explores the idea that the British Secret Intelligence Service, or MI6, were the ones behind the plot to assassinate Rasputin in an attempt to prevent him from convincing the Tsar of Russia to make a separate peace with Germany, because if that was allowed to happen, then Germany could focus solely on the Western Front and Britain could potentially lose the war. And there's not really a lot of hard evidence for this, but it's a fun and interesting concept, which the book does a good job of kind of exploring with us. The main theme we see displayed in this book is the idea of right and wrong. So is it right to murder Rasputin and potentially save Britain? That's certainly what the British government thinks is best. But Cleary struggles with this decision throughout the book, as he is tasked with creating the plot to kill Rasputin. And so he goes along to get along, and he saves himself because he enjoys the security of his job and he doesn't want to get sent back to the war front. In the beginning of the story, a character tells Cleary that he is all talk and no action, and we see that played out multiple times throughout the story, where Cleary talks a big game but doesn't do anything about it, and that's to the detriment of himself or those around him. And so as Christians, this reminds us that we need to be willing to stand up for our biblical values, even when it's hard. In Galatians 1:6-7, we read, "I am amazed that you are so quickly deserting him who called you by the grace of Christ for a different gospel, which is really not another. Only there are some who are disturbing you and want to distort the gospel of Christ." And then later in verse 10, we read, "For I am now seeking the favor of men or of God, or am I striving to please men? If I were still trying to please men, I would not be a bondservant of Christ." So our aim should not be to please the people around us or our earthly desires, but to stand up for and commit to acting the way Jesus would act in such situations. The book doesn't skirt around these issues, and it shows that these are hard decisions with life and death stakes, but remember that the Bible does not make exceptions because certain situations are hard. There are people all around the world today that lose their life for the gospel of Jesus Christ. There's a great image in the story where Cleary finally decides to act, but instead of leaving the situation, which would have been the right decision, he decides to give in and to kill Rasputin. So we see Cleary and Rasputin fighting outside, and there's light shining from indoors into the outside, and the murder happens just outside where the light ends from the doorway. It's a really great image. I'll try and show you a picture of it here. I don't know if you can see that. So you just have the all of the action is happening in the darkness, and it's like he's leaving the light and the good for the darkness of sin and murder. It's a really great picture. And so after this event, we see Cleary changes. He becomes apathetic to all the things that are around him, and he decides to side with the revolutionaries, leaving behind the British government and his Russian friends to kind of tear down those two groups who were trying to use him for their political gain. This mirrors how our own sin can numb us to our surroundings and cause us to be more lenient on what we decide is right and wrong. In many situations, we say to ourselves, well, I'm not as bad as my neighbor, so it's okay for me to sin in this one instance. We should avoid this type of thinking at all costs because it causes us to normalize the sin in our life. And when we are tempted and we give in to that temptation, we feel dirty and shame because we know what we did was wrong and we did it anyway. Petrograd reminds us that when we give in to the pressure of those around us and compromise our biblical values, we actually don't gain anything. Instead, we feel numb and broken. That's going to do it for this short review. If you're thinking about getting this for somebody, you should know that there is some minor nudity and some pretty graphic violence, so I would not recommend getting this for any kids. With amazing art, an eye for historical detail, and some good exploration of important human themes, this is a really great book, and I would highly recommend picking it up to read over a weekend because it's a fairly short read, only 250 pages. If you've read Petrograd, please leave a comment down below on your thoughts on the book, and if you have any suggestions for graphic novels that I should check out, please leave those down there as well. As always, please subscribe, like the video, and share it with your friends if you found this interesting. And I will see you guys in the next video.